1 month ago, we had no idea what Leagues Cup was going to be like, or the type of moments this new tournament could bring to our eyes. 47 clubs across 2 leagues in a mid-season World Cup style tournament. Would the clubs care? Would the players care? And would the supporters care? All important questions when evaluating a new entity in our football landscape. And although I think some of those questions have been answered, I still think there's a debate on how much Leagues Cup will actually mean in the long run. But until we can solve that riddle, we need to see the conclusion of this inaugural edition of the tournament, where after 75 matches across the United States, we finally have our 2 combatants staking a claim to be the first name on that trophy. Nashville SC and Inter Miami. These are 2 clubs that have paralleled each other since the beginning. Both of these clubs are a part of the widespread expansion of Major League Soccer over the past 5 years, and when both clubs entered the league in 2020, the public was bound to draw comparisons between the 2 sides. For Nashville, you had a club that was focused on creating a strong foundation from the beginning. Before they were even in MLS, they recruited a proven manager in Gary Smith, who led the Colorado Rapids to MLS Cup in 2010. Along with that, Nashville focused heavily on bringing in MLS-proven guys into their club, with the likes of Dax McCarty, Joe Willis, and Walker Zimmerman headlining their roster and still being an important piece to this day. Nashville's goals were not to be flashy, but to build a cohesive team that could withstand the demands of MLS. For their expansion brothers, it was a different story. Being a club that was notorious for being part owned by David Beckham, the expectations for what Inter Miami was supposed to look like were very high. South American flair, big names, and celebrity owners. People wanted Miami to be a hit in MLS right away. From day one, Miami was linked to big names like Luis Suarez, Neymar, and Higuain. These were all thrown around, and when Messi posted a video congratulating David Beckham on his new team, everything was on the table. In the end though, Miami spent big, tried to be as flashy as possible, but failed to achieve the results. And 4 years on, those sentiments have remained true. Coming into this Leagues Cup break, the MLS season was over halfway complete, and when looking at the table, you can clearly see the distance between these 2 clubs. For Nashville, they are pushing for top of the Eastern Conference, and they've been competitive since 2020. For Miami though, you have to look far down that table to find them. 15th in the East and sitting at an overall 29th place out of 29 teams in the league, Miami have been the worst team by a mile, and the only way they could possibly be saved is if somehow they managed to sign the greatest player of all time and maybe some of his friends. And that's what they did. From the jump, Nashville took the upper hand between these 2 expansion franchises. But 4 years on from that inaugural season, both clubs have earned their first opportunity at a trophy, and just as the Hollywood scriptwriters would have it, of course that opportunity would come against each other. I'd say that for both Nashville and Miami, these are completely different sides than what we've seen so far this season. Of course, Miami's change is more drastic than the other, but still, I feel as if both sides have made huge acquisitions over the course of this month that have taken them to that next level. Nashville has finally seen what their squad can look like with a true DP number 9 in their side. And for Miami, the Messi, Busquets, and Jordi Alba partnership, combined with the proven Tata Martino as head coach, they've revolutionized their club. This matchup is going to be iconic, not only because of Messi Mania, but for what it can mean for both sides, who are looking to usher in this new chapter for their club. So with the stage being set, let's look at how each of these sides have arrived to this point. Once again, it all started with 47 clubs, which means Nashville's journey began in Central Group 4 with Liga MX's Toluca and the Colorado Rapids. The first game on deck for Nashville was against Colorado, and they were easily able to wrap up that win at home. That result put them in a position where all they needed was 1 point against Toluca in order to advance to the round of 32. Now, Toluca isn't a random club from Liga MX, and with their fan base traveling strong in Nashville, the home side would get their first real test of this Liga MX versus MLS rivalry that would be coming a lot in this tournament. In a back and forth affair, Both sides led at one point or another, and in the end, Toluca were the ones who escaped with the win. But as expected, Toluca defeated Colorado easily, and Nashville finished second place in their group and had a date against the Porter Shield leaders Cincinnati in the next round. At this point, Nashville was given one of the more difficult paths in the tournament, because compared to the right side of the bracket, the left side had just about every team you'd want to avoid. But for Nashville, they were prepared to earn their keep as they started off with a statement, going toe-to-toe against Cincinnati and pulling off a penalty shootout victory in a stadium that no team has walked away from with a win. For the round of 16, their next opponent was even stronger as Club America and their traveling support landed at Geodis Park. Both teams threw everything at this game, and as surprising as it was, it took until the 60th minute before the deadlock was broken with a Zimmerman header off a corner. This is the goal that opened the floodgates, because after this moment, the tension skyrocketed. Club America grabbed one back off of Valdez' header in the 78th minute to set the games on a knife's edge, and as the clock creeped to the 90th minute, each team was preparing for penalties, until a shot by Valdez smacked off the hand of Luke McNaughton, which resulted in a 94th minute winner to send Club America into the next round. But as the clock kept ticking through the 95th, the 96th, and the 97th, Nashville's star man Hani Mukhtar found the ball on the left side, and crashing into the box was Sam Surridge, the DP number 9 Nashville signed from Nottingham Forest, and on his debut finished off a dime of a pass to send Geodis Park into a frenzy. The lifeline Nashville needed to breathe for another moment. Without extra time, Nashville and Club America went straight into penalties, and entering the 6th round, it was a sudden death moment. Club America converted, and up stepped Nashville's first ever draft pick, Jack Mayer, to keep the dream alive. Club America thought they'd won, but that feeling wouldn't last long, because behind the scenes, VAR was at work, and eventually, after declaring the goalkeeper off the line, both sets of players found themselves back at half, reliving those same emotions from before. But this time, Mayer slots his penalty as Jonathan Dos Santos rockets his off the crossbar. And one kick away from reversing the curse, Daniel Lovett sent Nashville into the quarterfinals. In this next round, Nashville hosted yet another match, and this time they welcomed an in-form Minnesota United to Geodis Park. The expectations were that this would be yet another difficult task for Nashville, but with an all-round dominant performance, Nashville brushed off Minnesota with a very easy 5-0 scoreline. And with that win, they booked their spot in the semis, where they would face arguably the best team the tournament had on offer, which was Monterrey, a club that not only took out Tigres, but came back from 2 goals down to reverse the tide against LAFC in the previous round. Another tall task for Nashville, but with the home support and the adrenaline that has been built up through all of their games, Nashville was prepared for whatever Monterrey would throw at them. Everything came so quickly in this game. Chances for both sides, huge saves, and controversial calls. As the game progressed, eventually the new star, Sam Surridge, found his way on the field, and in 10 minutes, him and Hani linked up for another goal to put Nashville ahead. After the goal, Nashville's number 2 had to pull off some big stops to maintain the lead, but as the game wrapped up, Nashville sealed the deal to book their spot in the final. For Miami, their path wasn't nearly as daunting, and honestly, they really dominated almost every match. Of course, the key was their new signings. Right before the tournament, Miami introduced Lionel Messi to the side, along with former treble winner and Barcelona teammate Sergio Busquets to the midfield. And yes, I knew Messi and Busquets were going to be levels above what MLS had to offer, but I underestimated just how much they could change this Miami team. Starting off in the South 3 group, Miami were paired with Cruz Azul and Atlanta, and in their first match against Liga MX opposition, they set the tone for what was to come. With Messi and Busquets subbing onto the pitch in the 51st minute of this match and a scoreline at 1-1 heading into the final minutes, the perfect scenario was set up. 94th minute, free kick outside the box, everyone watching Messi step up to it, and the shot heard round the world. Messi was welcome to Miami. A literal dream start for the Argentine, but it was just the first game, and although Messi looked great in its moments, could he do that again? In the next game in their group, Miami played Atlanta at home, and against one of the worst defenses in the league, Miami and co made a mockery of United. A 4-0 scoreline. With a Messi brace, the ball kept rolling. And as I mentioned earlier, Miami's side of the bracket looked set to be the easiest path to the final. In the round of 32, Miami came up against Florida rivals Orlando. But even with the rivalry at hand, Orlando seemed to turn into dust against this Miami side. For the third game in a row, Messi added another goal to his tally in the 7th minute. And even after being pushed around and fighting throughout the whole game, Messi added another to the scoreline along with Josef Martinez as they pushed Orlando to the side. For the round of 16, Inter Miami would finally have to play away, and for this match, it was in the 100-degree Dallas heat. But it didn't matter because once again, in those first 10 minutes of the match, Messi linked up with Jordi Alba to recreate a pound-for-pound goal of the many moments they celebrated in Barcelona. And just like that, Messi continued on the path until Dallas found one back 30 minutes later, and then took the lead a few minutes after that. This was the issue with Miami. Yes, they had all the attacking pieces necessary to blow teams away, but along with that, their defense was shocking, which would later become an issue as Robert Taylor put the ball into his own net in the 68th minute as Dallas pulled away from Miami with a 4-2 scoreline. But it was all just a ploy for another moment for Messi Mania, because with 10 minutes left and 2 goals down, Messi put the team on his back. A free kick swung in and a perfect header by the opposition to score an own goal, and like the story we witnessed a few days previous, Messi stepped up to a free kick in the 85th minute and like the magician he is, found the top corner and put the ball in a place that no keeper, whether MLS or not, could save. Heading into penalties, all the momentum swung away from Dallas, and as calm as Messi slotted away the first penalty, 18-year-old Argentine Benjamin Kermosky did the same to put Miami through to the next round. And believe it or not, it became easier for Miami as they came up against Charlotte FC. To be honest, this game was wrapped up before it even started, and with 4 different goal scorers, including Messi notching his 8th goal in his 5th game, Inter Miami booked a spot in the semi-final. After every single game, I told myself, just wait until Messi plays an actual MLS club. And each game came and went. Messi proved more and more why he's considered one of the greatest of all time. But they still had to get through Philadelphia, and like I kept saying, the Union were going to be that real MLS club that would challenge Miami. And then in the 3rd minute, Josef Martinez put Miami ahead, and just a few minutes after, Messi doubled that lead. It's ridiculous. It's actually just ridiculous that this guy makes everything seem so easy. And so yeah, Miami took out the Union without even sweating, and now along with Nashville, they've booked their spot to vie for the trophy. 2 separate clubs with distinctly different ways of finding success. Nashville focus on having a strong foundation first. They rely on previous experience and their veteran structure. Meanwhile, Miami are surging through the competition by spending on the superstars and reimagining the heights of MLS. And the best part is, in this league, both are successful and both can put you in the spotlight for one night as you play for a trophy. 4 years ago, these clubs came into this league together, and in such a short time, only one of them will be crowned as Leagues Cup champions. Nashville SC hosting Inter Miami. Who do you got?